Right now on IU NewsNet, a turn of events, the rape case that sparked nationwide controversy, an apology, and what Rolling Stone is saying about the alleged victim's story.
In the outrage, protesters all over the country and overseas angered over the chokehold, the officer not charged.
And as the lights turn on downtown, the holiday season in Bloomington begins with a sparkling tradition. Good evening. It's great to be with you this Monday. I'm Hannah Lynn Harris.
And I'm Sagan March. We begin with a new development in the turn of events for the rape story getting national attention. Rolling Stone saying the student in the magazine profile, Jackie, may have not been telling the truth. The famous magazine now apologizing for discrepancies about the alleged gang rape on the Charlottesville campus, saying, "In the face of new information, there now appear to be discrepancies in Jackie's account, and we may have come to the conclusion that our trust in her was misplaced." According to the magazine, Jackie claims she was raped by 7 men during a party at the Phi Kappa Psi fraternity house. Since the alleged assault, all fraternity activities have been suspended until January and investigations continue. In the meantime, the fraternity says there was no party the night of the alleged attack, and the chapter's lawyer says he was with records to prove it.
We're going to turn now to a health alert. More than 1 million people worldwide have been reported to have contracted a severe virus caused by mosquito bites. Aaron Silverman leading us off with the symptoms and what you can do to prevent it.
Chikungunya is an excruciating virus caused by a mosquito bite that has recently risen in the U.S. and surrounding islands and has affected almost 1 million people.
I don't believe there is a good treatment. There's no vaccine to prevent it.
Ruellen Fessenbecker, the charge nurse at the Immunization and Travel Clinic at the IU Health Center, gave us tips on how to prevent the virus.
The first way is to make sure that your sleeping area is mosquito-free. In countries like Africa and Asia where they have a large risk of malaria, it's common to sleep under bed nets. The second way is to use insect repellent. While not easy or carefree, it's worth the effort.
IU student Sylvie Connor had to cancel her vacation last minute due to the virus.
Me and my mom were planning on going to Puerto Rico for a week before I was leaving for a semester abroad in Spain. And we had the trip planned and booked, and then we started seeing these articles about chikungunya. It just wasn't worth it. We weighed the pros and cons, and my mom was saying, oh, we could have to get a lot of deep, but in the end, it wasn't worth it. I think that people already are very paranoid, especially after everything that happened with Ebola. So I think that this is just another one of those things where the health standards in the U.S. are going to be extremely high.
As the holiday break is approaching, make sure that you pack your bags with a lot of mosquito repellent, especially if you're traveling overseas. For IU NewsNet, I'm Aaron Silverman.
Officials also saying that there is no risk of contracting the virus in the U.S., but they are warning travelers to be wary of the virus if going outside of the U.S. for the holidays.
And while the official start of winter is not until December 21st, the freezing temperatures are driving people indoors already. Bloomington, however, is home to a large population of people who don't have a home this winter. IU NewsNet's Abby Larico is in studio to tell us more about what the city is doing to help. Abby?
Sagan, Monroe County actually has the highest number of people who are homeless in the state of Indiana, and here in Bloomington about 25% of permanent residents, so that's not including IU students, are living at or below the poverty line. But a force of Bloomington police officers is working together with local shelters to get people off the street and back on their feet this winter. It's a community hidden in plain sight. And as temperatures dip, the city's working to get its large homeless population indoors. For the first time this year, BPD's downtown resource officers will be here to help. They're a police unit tasked with monitoring the homeless community.
I think we've got a good rapport with them. So, we'll go and talk to these folks, and we'll try to maybe, I don't want to say coerce, but talk them into maybe looking into staying in a shelter.
Each winter, local churches make up the Interfaith Homeless Shelter, providing a warm place to sleep at night. And when the sun comes up, there's the Shalom Center.
Shalom is a daytime shelter and a resource center for people experiencing hunger, homelessness, and poverty. We provide a lot of emergency life essential resources, including meals, showers, laundry.
The Shalom Center is always in need of a variety of items, but during these cold winter months, hats, scarves, jackets, and sturdy shoes are in high demand.
We have over 300 people homeless on any given night. Probably about 50 to 60 people who are living outside.
But the network of shelters working with the police department is going all out to shrink this number.
Bloomington has an environment that allows you to pick yourself up when you fall down.
BPD officers say the city really is lucky to be able to accommodate both the temporarily and the chronically homeless, but there's always the need for donations. So to find out more about these shelters, visit shalomcommunitycenter.org or the interfaithwintershelter.org. For IU NewsNet, I'm Abby Larico.
All right, thanks, Abby. Well, still to come on IU NewsNet, Indiana might be a smoke-free state, but a new report is saying the Hoosier State is among the worst at fighting lung cancer. David Hamilton digging deeper.
And the three words that prompted international protests, the dramatic videos from around the world. Protesters in Paris took to the streets to show their support for victims of police brutality in the U.S. A French teen captured this video of the demonstrators holding signs and chanting those last words spoken 11 times by Eric Garner. And take a look at this shot. Protesters in Berkeley, California, Saturday night, some bashing windows and looting businesses, police making several arrests. Meanwhile, in New York, the police department deployed the first 54 body cameras as part of a 3-month-long pilot program. The department says the debut of the cameras began a month earlier than expected in the wake of Garner's death. The pilot includes 2 brands of cameras. After the 3-month period, the department will decide whether to keep the program and what brand of camera to use. The cameras are meant to help citizens provide more evidence of encounters with police, but some still remain skeptical.
Even if stuff get recorded, the cops are still going to win because they're going to say that the person that they are doing whatever to was in the wrong.
It's not only the most costly diseases, but also one of the hardest to fight. As Lung Cancer Awareness Month came to an end last month, a new report is showing Indiana at the bottom of the list, in 45th place for the worst states combating the disease. IU NewsNet David Hamilton tells us why Indiana is struggling to prevent lung cancer.
A new report suggests that Indiana is one of the worst states at fighting the high costs of lung cancer. The disease is extremely costly. In fact, it cost the U.S. about $12 billion in 2010, according to the National Institutes of Health. Only about 16% of patients survive the disease, and it's estimated that over 200,000 people were newly diagnosed this year alone.
Now, most universities, including IU, ban tobacco products from even being on campus. However, as you can see, these bans aren't completely effective.
While the ban prohibits smoking or selling tobacco anywhere on campus, the problem is that it just isn't enforced.
In my freshman year, sometimes I would smoke outside of my dorm and people would, the RAs would come and say, don't do that here, but I've never gotten written up, or no one's ever really approached me after that. So no, it doesn't really affect me. Since there's a ban and it's not really used, I think it could be appropriate to have certain designated areas just to make sure that if people are going to smoke, they can smoke away from other people.
The tobacco ban was updated in 2013 to include even more products, such as e-cigarettes. For IU NewsNet, I'm David Hamilton.
Wallet Hub considered factors like cigarette prices and taxes, as well as number of tobacco users per state in order to make their list.
Indiana's Supreme Court is set to hear a case about public school fees. The case centers around Franklin Township's $475 transportation charge, and some are wondering if charging parents for their kids to ride the bus is unconstitutional. I spoke to MCCSC's board president about this heated debate. A little before 4 p.m. every weekday, the kids at Templeton Elementary School scurry out to catch the big yellow bus home. But the question on the minds of some public education officials is just who should be paying for these bus fees.
If parents do have to pay, that can be a burden for an awful lot of families.
Sue Wasner, a member of the Board of School Trustees, has been pushing for the state to recognize the public in public education.
I've argued ever since I've been on the school board in 2000 that we really are violating the Constitution because we're not providing a free education.
The money given to schools for bus fees and textbook fees takes money away from other school activities.
School corporations are forced to cut more and more things, whether it's music or art.
The Templeton assistant principal says, though, it all depends on the students and their parents.
Depending on the socioeconomic status of the children of the school, it's not going to be equal for all students or all families.
With Monroe County school buses traveling about 9,000 miles a day, there is not much leeway to change the current system.
It's a no-win situation. There's not one really good option right now.
A recent lawsuit about textbook fees has gone to the Indiana Supreme Court, and Wasner told me there could be huge repercussions from that decision.
Plaintiffs win, that means that school corporations won't be able to charge a bus fee.
But no matter the outcome, community cooperation is crucial. The Monroe County School Corporation members are meeting in January to reevaluate the fees and discuss what can be done.
Millions of dollars are spent each year on presents, but do you know where the gifts are actually coming from? We have one Bloomington shop's efforts to make this Christmas season all fair trade.
But first, a Christmas lover's winterland. How one Ohio man gets ready for the big holiday.
If you're just not in the holiday spirit, this next story might just change your minds. Take a look at this. Bob Mengen lives in Cleveland, Ohio, and says he loves Christmas and isn't afraid to show it. His display includes 45,000 lights. But wait a minute, if you think the outside is insane, wait till you see the inside. That's 29 trees decking the halls, alongside plenty of garland and blinking lights. Mangan says this has been putting up displays every Christmas for the past 15 years. He says it makes him happy when people go out to see the display and doesn't mind paying the extra $500 or so in electricity to power the display this Christmas.
And as the holidays approach, many are scrambling to get those special presents for friends and family. But as Bianca Lev shows us, one Bloomington shop is aiming to make gift-giving this Christmas a fair trade.
The 10th annual Fair Trade Holiday Sale extends beyond knickknacks to be given as gifts this holiday season.
I'd say it's a way for people to feel like they're involved in their community and even globally.
So what exactly is fair trade? Fair trade items are usually handmade and purchased ahead of time from artisans around the world who in turn get paid immediately. The sale itself is a way for Bloomington's global gifts to gain business.
It's our big money maker, and it's a good way to just spread the word on fair trade and global gifts, because a lot of people know what it is exactly, and they'll come in here and be like, oh, I love all these things, and then they'll go to global gifts, and global gifts will get good business, and so therefore the fair trade movement can increase. So
the one-of-a-kind baubles are just one thing that attracts students.
I remember I visited this last year, so I definitely wanted to stop by again.
Even better, the fair trade sale is the gift that keeps on giving.
It's very unique, and they have a really nice selection, and of course it's for a good cause, so that makes it even better.
If you miss the sale, swing by Global Gifts located conveniently in downtown Bloomington for all of your shopping needs. For IU NewsNet, I'm Bianca Lev.
The two-day sale is over now, but that doesn't mean it's too late to pick up fair trade gifts for your friends and family. I'm going to have to stop by and get something for my family, Sagan.
Definitely some cool stuff, but a lot of cool stuff happening at the Heidi Shrine Circus in Evansville, Indiana during Thanksgiving break. We sent IU NewsNet reporter Sydney Franklin to the circus' 81st opening for our news segment, IU Storytellers.
Uncle Buck says there's nothing better than making people laugh.
Bringing a little bit of joy to somebody who hasn't had joy in a while. Spending some time with some kids who unfortunately don't always get to have some attention to them.
This is why he became a clown 12 years ago.
And finally I had that opportunity, and I took advantage of that opportunity. And I love it.
The opportunity knocking at Uncle Buck's door was unique entertainment that doesn't come around to Southern Indiana very often. The Evansville Heidi Shrine Circus. Every year, the Heidi Shriners, a fraternal organization founded in 1870, puts on a show. Their Evansville potentate, or leader, Brian Ball, says it raises money for the Shriners Hospital for Children.
We actually, as Shriners, go out and have events to find kids who need our assistance. There's been several times that I've walked up to families in a restaurant where I've been eating and seen the child and offered our services to them.
Because of the circus and other Hadi Shrine events, children can be treated at no charge.
Our facilities, we consider them to be temples of mercy, and we will turn no child away.
Uncle Buck, tell us what year this is.
This is the 81st Hadi Shrine Circus.
If you ask Uncle Buck what his favorite part of the Hadi Shrine Circus is...
The clowns, come on, what do you think? Yeah, duh. I mean, what a silly question.
For IU NewsNet, I'm Sydney Franklin.
Thanks, Sydney. Does it feel like Christmas yet? Well, if you're on the downtown square, it does. I spoke to organizers of the Canopy of Lights about this anticipated tradition.
And while we were on Thanksgiving break, IU football concluded its season, making way for basketball season. Sports with Matt Randall is up next.
Welcome back to IU NewsNet. I'm Matt Randall with this week's sports. While we were away on break, the IU football team concluded its rough season. After the loss of Nate Sudfeld, any hope of a bowl game was lost. Luckily for Hoosier fans, the only Big Ten team as bad as Indiana this year was Purdue, meaning the battle for the Old Oaken Bucket would mean more than just IU's first Big Ten win. It would ensure that they would finish this season above the Boilermakers. And as expected, it was an ugly one at Memorial Stadium, so let's skip to IU's final drive. We're tied at 16, and that run puts Tevin Coleman over the 2,000-yard mark for the season, just the 18th player in NCAA history to do so. And later on the drive, D'Angelo Roberts chugging down to the 1-yard line. And then on the ensuing play, Xander Diamant keeps it to give the Hoosiers the 23-16 victory, and IU keeps the bucket in Bloomington. Now let's go to Assembly Hall. IU basketball looking for a big win against Pittsburgh, and it was the Troy Williams and Emmett Holt show as Williams lays it in there. And the two are looking to show their stuff after both were suspended earlier this year for drug and alcohol-related incidents. And now here is Emmett Holt again. He gets the foul and one. And he would hit that free throw. Pitt looking to close the gap late. But Yogi Ferrell has other ideas. He gets it over to James Blackman, who flushes it easily. And Indiana runs away from it from Pitt, 81-69. Bloomington North and South met in the sectional final of last year's state basketball tournament, with the Cougars from the north side sending home their rivals early. The two are set to face off again, and we checked in with both teams to gauge their expectations heading into the preseason scrimmage and the new season.
As winter hits Bloomington, many minds in the area turn to basketball. Not just IU, but high school hoops as well. Bloomington North and South have certainly found recent success. South winning 2 state titles in the past 6 years, and North reaching last year's semi-state. But with both teams losing large chunks of leadership from their 2013 squads, preseason practices have focused on building their program identities. North coach Andy Hodson says toughness will be the Cougars' calling card this season, a trait that makes any coach's job much easier.
They love defense. They love to get on the floor. They love to take charges. That's just a gritty group. It's always fun when you have groups like that aren't afraid. They're not afraid of contact. They're not afraid to dive and get dirty and do that dirty work because then you can work with them to do the other stuff.
The Cougars will get a chance to work on that other stuff against crosstown rivals Bloomington South when the two meet for a preseason scrimmage, sure to get both teams motivated for the season.
We're here at practice with Bloomington South as they prepare to face Bloomington North in the season opener. We caught up with Coach J.R. Holmes to talk about what their expectations are heading into the next year.
First week, this week everybody's still pumped up. We just made the team, we made the cuts, and everybody's still sort of a bit enthused. Now next week is sort of the doldrums of the basketball practice. It's always a rival game, no matter who you're playing, to get some experience in front of people and seeing if what your offense or defense does against other teams.
Looking beyond the scrimmage, the new season brings uncertainty for both teams, and with that comes excitement. For IU NewsNet, I'm Matt Randall.
All right, following the scrimmage, South begins their season against Floyd Central, while North gets their start against Bedford North Lawrence. And that's it for sports this week. Let's send it back to the desk.
Thanks, Matt. And if you're counting down the days till Christmas like me, there are just a couple of weeks before it gets here. But it's become a Bloomington tradition to turn on a canopy of lights on the downtown square the day after Thanksgiving. I spoke to downtown officials about how this tradition got started and why they say it brightens all aspects of the community. Canopy of Lights brightens up the night sky in downtown Bloomington. The majority of the lights are spread across different buildings, but they main canopy lights straight from the Monroe County Courthouse. It is a sight to see here in downtown Bloomington, with over 28 miles of Christmas lights that road crews have been preparing since late August. Over 200,000 lights were placed downtown to bring joy during the holiday season.
It becomes a tradition that's carried on. We're starting to now see little ones whose parents came down as little children. And so that's the exciting part of it, is just that continuity for supporting downtown as the heart of our community.
So actually I love the lights. To me it brings out like the childlike wonder that I had when I was a youth. But I love that the city does it, because it shows to me that the city cares about how not only the civilians here feel, but how the students feel. We want to be proud of our town and the town we come to when we go to school. So just to see the lights and have that glow, that warm glow, it kind of warms up the cold Indiana nights, as it were.
Sparkling. It's our sparkling holiday tradition.
Be sure to go check out the Canopy of Lights. They will be up until late January.
I'll definitely check them out, Sagan. But for now, that wraps up our show. We'll see you next week.
In the meantime, join the conversation and follow IU NewsNet on Twitter for constant updates and more campus and local news. From all of us at IU NewsNet, thank you for watching.